When Marcus Garvey spoke about self-reliance, he wasn't only talking about people of color. It's like self-reliance in general for anyone. Just keep moving and moving within the right direction, and everything will be all right. It's a quote from Burning Spear. Now, this quote addresses one of the main reasons I created Hippie-Fari, the revolutionary, change-inducing message of reggae music. It was created for revolution, and its message is still as strong today as it was in the 60s when the first reggae records were released. So welcome to another episode of Hippie-Fari Reggae Radio and Podcast, recorded live in the Omen Honey Reggae Radio and Media Studios in beautiful Daytona Beach, Florida. I am your host, Scotty, the high-strung hippie, and Hippie-Fari is a podcast where we discuss all things reggae. So if reggae music's your thing, you're in the right place. Now we're doing a free shirt and sticker giveaway. Go to YouTube, subscribe to our channel, download any episode, send me the 2 screenshots at hippiefari@yahoo.com, and win a free t-shirt. Now tonight we have special guests in the studio. With tracks like Heavy Reggae and Sign of the Times, these guys know what music with a message is certainly about and what it can do. And they have the coolest logo in reggae music. That was one of the first things that drew me to them. I saw their logo and I was like, that is amazing. I got to find out who these guys are. So please join me in welcoming to the Omen Honey Studios, Rasta Farmers from Arizona. How you guys doing, man?
Doing good, bro.
Doing good.
Awesome. Fantastic. So you're, 2 hours behind me, I think? Is that what it is? It's 6:13 there now?
It's 5:13 here.
Okay, cool. All right, man. Yeah, when I scheduled it, I wasn't even thinking about the time change. So I definitely apologize for that. But well, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. How was your day, man? How's everything been going? What's life like in Arizona?
Right now, it's beautiful, man. It's like, it's springtime for us, because we know it's going to be 117 before you know it.
That's insane.
But right now, like tonight's going to be 50 degrees at night. You know what
okay.
I mean? So these desert rats, we get cold at 70. So,
Yeah. Us too in Florida, man, 100%. So, yeah, I'm no stranger to the getting cold below 70 either. So I don't like it too much. But so thank you guys once again so much, and I'm definitely excited to have you on. I can't wait to get to these questions. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm excited about this one. Can you share the story behind Rasta Farmers? What inspired the name and the mission behind your music? Now, this could be the Wild West. You could both answer at the same time. You can both answer separately. You can individually answer. It's all good, man. I actually prefer that you both answer, so I get an answer from both of you. That would be awesome.
Well, I founded the band a long, long time ago, and Richard, he's a pup, so he wasn't around during that part of it, but pretty much most of the rest. I was with another friend, and we were driving down. Back then, Arizona had a lot of farmlands, a lot of fields, and
sure.
And we were kind of like going, what are we going to call ourselves? We can't call ourselves the reggae people, or what the hell? And then we're staring at the farms. And I go, wouldn't it be nice to be running through that farm, And then he goes, Rasta Farmer, yeah. Well, and we just kind of hit from that point on, And then everybody thought that it was for us planting marijuana or something like that, right? But it's really the concept was to plant seeds of consciousness in the hearts of mankind.
Wow, that's amazing, man. I love that. You should that would be a great T-shirt right there. I love those words. Planting consciousness in the hearts of mankind. That's great, man.
Some of our older T-shirts had that.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, I'm probably wearing the Rasta Farmers shirt too. Very awesome, man. So definitely a creative name. Absolutely love it. Now, Reggae definitely has deep roots in resistance, spirituality, and cultural expression. Now, how do you incorporate these elements into your sound and your message?
Well, Richard Castillo here, he's my
Okay.
lawyer, right? He's a lawyer
Yeah.
also, DJ Law. Okay.
Hence the email address, DJ Law.
Yeah, and through law and all that, I used to be a bailiff in the traffic courts also.
Oh, wow.
And we've seen, like Cesar Chavez and all those people doing their marches and then fighting against the legal system, yet we were working for the legal system. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I used to remember at the traffic courts, people were they're in a hurry to get in there and get out of there because they were taking off from their jobs. And a lot of times when they got done, not only did they lose their case and they got fined, but when they went outside, they had a new ticket on their car. So when I noticed that
sucks, man.
The system only got those who couldn't afford to have their lawyer send in a check or whatever, you know what I mean? So
sure.
After that, it kind of got heavy on me, and I just said, I'm going to leave the courts. You know what I'm saying? And then I just dived off in it and started playing reggae.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah. So I come in. I met Patrick at a show back in 1992 at one of the high-profile reggae venues called the Roxy. It played a lot of other music too, but it was a pretty good reggae venue. Time back in the 90s, in the early 90s. And I was in law school at the time, and I met him there through another friend, and they happened to go to school together, and it turns out my sister knew him. So I started hanging out with Patrick and going to his practices while I was in law school. And I told him one day, hey, I want to join your band when I pass the bar, and would you let me? And he said, sure. So I started playing congas when I passed the 95, and that's when I joined the band. 1995.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's my instrument. I'm a percussionist as well, so that's very cool, man. Now, Arizona isn't the first place that comes to mind when people think of reggae. How has the local culture and environment shaped your music and your identity as a band?
Well, when I first started to go to live music venues, a couple of friends turned me on to one of the first Arizona reggae bands that I ever saw was from the Native American part of the population. They were called Sons of the Captivity.
Oh, great name.
Yeah, and they were really militant, and
I love that.
But they also did all the Bob Marleys, did all that stuff. So they were like the party band everybody wanted and stuff like that. And then those bands couldn't really get into the clubs just yet, and then as time went on, I started my own kind of stuff, and they influenced me. So those Native Americans were like the heaviest crowd to come to your show.
Oh, that's awesome.
There was no Jamaicans. There was no anybody else, but it was mostly Native Americans and some Chicanos and stuff like that. And then as time went on, it's got kind of grew because I don't know, the natives when they are all together, they have like a real intimidating dance going on.
Right.
You get in their way, boy. It's like we're talking about this 6 foot tall Pima guys. You know what I'm saying? And but you know what? Big giants, but the coolest guys. You know what I'm saying? But
100%.
That was the beginning of it all, was through the Native American view of reggae. Later on, I ended up playing down in all the reservations, including the Grand Canyon.
Wow, that's amazing, man. That's not something that you think about. But so there is the Native American influence or the Native American crowd. Are there still a big reggae community within that? Is that still kind of the way it's going?
The generations have passed like 2 or 3 times over. You know what I'm saying? So you got like the youth coming in. And they like the new reggae that's coming in, and there's a lot of the new reggae, which it's native reggae coming from New Mexico coming out and stuff like that, and then but they kind of like all the young bands and stuff like that. But it's all, you got the other generation that liked all the older stuff, from the 70s and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think they're kind of they're getting turned on to it all over again. You know what I mean? and it's kind of jumbling right now. You know what I mean? You got like 2 or 3 different crowds,
Sure.
different kinds of reggae going on. You know
Sure. That's a beautiful thing though, because you know, the Native American community, it pretty much fits the mold of why reggae music was started with the Jamaican community. You know, it's all about struggle, resistance, revolution, fighting the power, standing up for your rights. 100%. Fits perfect.
You're living under an occupation right now.
Yes, colonialism, pretty much.
You know, right now.
Right. Yep. That's awesome, man. Very cool. I just sat on my show a couple of weeks ago. Zach from a band called ZC Keeley. He is Arizona reggae band. Are you familiar?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, he is a great guy, man. It was an awesome interview. We had a really good show. So yeah, I'm excited. I love the sound that comes out of Arizona, and I think it's amazing. You know, a lot of people associate reggae with palm trees and, you know, Mai Tais, but I think it's cool that smack in the middle of the desert, you know, reggae is thriving. It's an absolutely beautiful thing.
You know, we got palm trees too, but you know, we just don't have the water. You know, it's underground.
That's awesome. Well, many reggae artists infuse their music with Rasta spirituality. Now, how has the Rastafarian philosophy influenced your personal journey and your music?
Well, in '86, I went to Jamaica and I saw the Sunsplash. And then I had already some friends who were Rastas. And I kind of was you know, I had a lot of friends, the natives who were like kind of like Rastas, but they're just adopting the form of it all. And as time went on, I decided that I was going to take what I liked, you know, and adapted it to my beliefs, you know, because they were kind of growing. And just like right now, they're still growing, you know. And Richard, you know, he's a son of a preacher man. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
Yeah. So, you know, you're still attracted to, you know, the spirit, and you're attracted to all the things, you know, that the Almighty, you know, brings down here.
Amen.
And here we are, we're trying to make sense of it all. You know what I mean? So we try not to condemn anybody else because, you know, who knows the mind of God? You know what I mean? And so and through reggae, it seems like everybody's welcome. You know what I mean? The punkers want to be there. I remember, you know, the heavy metal and the punkers, they never messed with us. You know what I'm saying? In fact, they loved us. They'd fight with each other.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that song "Punky Reggae Party," you know, that Bob Marley wrote, was about the punks. I know the Sex Pistols went over and visited, but I guess there were punk rockers before there was punk music, so they were listening to dub music and smoking weed. All the punks, man. And then they developed, you know, their own kind of music, but you know, also counterculture, just like reggae music. So that's so
you know, through the religion, you know, like Richard, he's adapted, you know, to it. So we're not full blown Rastas or full blown anything really.
Right,
you know
right. Yeah.
But it's like we like to emulate the better parts of those kind of you know, ideas and ways of life. You know, as much as
what I can say is that I started college in 1985 at Arizona State University, and I didn't hear reggae ever in my life before. I was listening to funk music, R&B, breakdancing, all that good stuff.
Oh, you were into breakbeats?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I'm an old school breakbeat DJ. That's awesome, man. Yeah.
So we had a roommate from the border of Mexico, actually born in Mexico, but they came over here and they were listening to Bob Marley and some dub from UB40.
Nice.
And so I was introduced to it really with dub music before actual full-blown reggae songs, and I loved it, you know, and it started becoming real spiritual to me.
100%. That's beautiful. Myself as well. You know, reggae music had always been there for me, and it allowed me to redevelop my spirituality, which is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? So it's it's definitely awesome how it has that power. Speaking of the spirituality, though, What does Jah mean to you? And how do you channel that divine energy through your music?
For me, it means like daddy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like, say if you were a Christian with the Trinity, the Father,
right.
the Son, and the Holy Spirit. To me is Jah, and then Jah.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And
yep.
Mama.
Right.
It's really the spirit is the spirit of a woman. The spirit of creation. You know what
sure.
I mean? I don't know why they kind of like hide that thing.
The divine feminine, 100%.
Yeah,
man.
what are you afraid of?
Yep.
So it that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Is it's one of those things where they you can't put your finger on it, but it's it's nice to go through life and then figure these things out that you go as you stumble and kick your toes.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Well, great answer so far, guy. I definitely appreciate that. I like to ask these kind of questions because it gets kind of boring, if it's just like, who are your influences? Where have you played? What are you going to do? That's, so these kind of questions are definitely awesome, man. I think it makes it a lot more fun. So reggae definitely serves as a vehicle for spirituality and spiritual awakening. Have there been any like profound moments where your music connected with someone on a deep spiritual level that they have told you about? Like, like, man, your music has touched me. Or either one of you,
I can say that when I started playing with Patrick, I would invite like 30, 40 people at a time. And a lot of them never heard reggae music before.
Right.
And so when they started hearing it, and they're people from my neighborhood, from the barrio, from the, where I was from, and they have told me that's all they listen to now. And they feel a real deep spiritual connection to it. That's where they got their spirituality. They didn't even go to church.
Right.
They got it from that music.
That's fantastic, man.
The root, and I'm saying the roots music, not
sure.
dancehall or anything like that.
Yep. 100%. That's where it all, that's where it all started, man. And hopefully it's going full circle. That's just, a lot of discussions that I have with reggae artists and people that are in the community. Is it something that we're having to hold on to and just hope that, the roots stays, as a prevalent part in the scene, or is it something that's going to slowly disappear? I feel like it's been kind of watered down, but I think there's the strongholds. Arizona is definitely one where the roots culture is staying strong.
When a man suffers, then his music's going to change.
Oh yeah.
If you don't suffer, your music is going to be like watered down. It's going to be wishy-washy. It's going to be lovey-dovey, all that, which is fine,
Right.
But this is a sufferer's music.
Yes.
So if you don't suffer, if you're not from the hood, if you haven't gone through anything, you don't know what you're talking about. So you don't know what you're singing about.
Right.
So you don't have nothing to say. Get off the damn stage. Man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Give it over to the people who are suffering. Who this message back in the day got apartheid canceled.
Sure.
So you see the power that it has. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So in lieu of that, you know what I mean? You have to be conscious when you're up on stage, and you have to have a message. If not, then you just go ahead and be a cover band. Go ahead and be a whatever. You know what I'm saying? But step aside, because times are rough right now. And we need the warriors and the rebels music. The militant music got to come out now.
Yes, amen.
When it's needed. Yes,
I love that. I am 100% about that attitude and those politics. I brought this up. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but in one of my last podcasts, one of the guests he had a quote, and he said that reggae music is the last bastion of the people's army. And I feel like it is, it's like they are slowly trying to take away our weapons so you can't fight. But reggae music is a weapon, a big one. And we can't allow that to be, taken away, whether it's getting watered down with all the party music, or, bands being afraid to say something because they don't think they'll get signed to a label, or they don't think a club will book them because they're political.
The other day I saw this, the best thing ever, and it was Rage Against the Machine on SNL or something like that, right?
Right.
And they told him, whatever, you can do whatever you want, but just don't cuss.
Right.
You know, that's the last thing you tell Rage Against the Machine.
Right.
You don't tell them anything. You're going to turn them into the more of a brat. You know what I'm saying? And that's how, when I started playing reggae music, pretty much that's how I was. I was lucky I didn't get arrested. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
From the stage. You know what I'm saying? But it's that spirit right there is the spirit that when you're too much of a pussy to say anything, those guys are the ones who are going to say it, and they don't care what's going to happen to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, and that's what we need right now.
Amen. 100%. People that, yes, are willing to stand up and go face to face with the powers that be and our leaders, you know, and demand change.
Yeah, you know, if you have an almighty God like this, who are you going to fear?
Nobody.
Who shall I fear? You know what I mean?
100%. Yes, that's beautiful. And I am praying that message carries, you know, to the youth, and they'll pick up on it. But I think our youth are they're a lot more intelligent than they get credit for, and they can see through all the bullshit. So
plus they have new tools. You know, we didn't have those tools. They got new tools to work with,
right?
You know, and a different way of fighting. You know, but it still comes down to the word sound power, and it comes down to what comes out of your mouth is a spell.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then the music is our weapon sonically. You know what I'm saying? Like sonic bullets. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and they use it against us. You know, They change the frequencies, they change the tonality, they change everything. They take away the bells. They don't want these frequencies in the air. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because they know that they can break glass and change minds. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, 100%. And that's what we're doing. It's absolutely amazing, man. Now, your lyrics definitely carry a message of unity, love, and resistance. So what do you hope people take away when they listen to Rasta Farmers music?
Well, my job is to leave the world a little bit more informed and a little bit more beautiful than when I came into it, because I'm an artist also. And
really? What if you don't mind me asking, what medium?
I do acrylic painting, you know, and it's kind of like sounds weird to a lot of people, but I do Day of the Dead, you know, Mexican style painting.
Love Day of the Dead stuff, man. The sugar skulls, it's so awesome.
And Chicano art, and he gets. I'm gonna give him more credit than he's giving himself. He's a damn good artist.
Nice, man.
Yeah, really good.
I would love to see some. I love art, so especially that Day of the Dead art. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. So there's definitely a growing movement of reggae artists that are blending genres. Now, do you think that this fusion strengthens the message, or that it dilutes the roots, or that it's just another vehicle for the message to get out?
I think it's a vehicle to turn on people, and then they'll find their way to the roots. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
If that's what their calling is, and you know, I personally like to do different genres and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
My heart wants to do reggae, but spirit sometimes makes me play soca, or the spirit make me do a little Afro beat. You know what I mean? Or something like an oldies groove and stuff, and then but I'm always coming back to reggae. But I've noticed that other guys, you know, like I would love to play add a little bit of heavy metal into reggae.
Yeah.
Too. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you know, and I used to love how like Parliament and Funkadelic would take a rock song and funk it out, and then but it would still be very rock. You know what I'm saying? And so I appreciate all those genres and stuff like that. And nothing can stop the roots, because once a man is in the spirit directs him straight to that, because that's his vehicle, that's his breast, that's his lap. You know what I'm saying? Home base. You know what I mean? Everything from there on is like cousin music to reggae. You know what I mean? In my opinion, you know what I mean? And as long as it's Afrocentric, you know what I mean, and has the rhythm and the beats and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And it gets you moving. then it has something going on. You know what I mean? And then from that point on, it's up to you to find your way to the roots of it all. You know what I mean? And you know, some people take a lot of time to appreciate that stuff. You know,
Sure.
You know, I got it was nice to be able to go to Jamaica in '86 and be in the middle of all what was the last of all that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, you went to the concert though, didn't you?
Yeah, I was in Sunsplash. You know.
No, in Jamaica, nice, man. How was that?
Yeah, it was great. Who was his name? I forgot who was, but you know, it was Gregory. It was everybody. You know what I mean? That you can think of. You know.
That's awesome, man. And you had mentioned the blending with the heavy metal and the reggae. Have you heard of Aurora Wave?
Yeah.
I was going to say the Ayaterra broke up and their lead singer Nate went and started Aurora Wave. They do that. And it's, you know, either it's your thing or it's not. But for what it is, they do it very well. So yeah,
every now and then you want to do. Every now and then it feels good to do something angsty like that. You know,
sure, man.
Saying? You know, because reggae, you know, is kind of it holds it back a little bit. You know what I mean, and stuff. And I love the sound of a growling guitar. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a huge death metal and grindcore fan, so I totally feel it. Now, many reggae songs talk about Babylon as a symbol of oppression and corruption. Now, how do you see the Babylon manifesting in today's world, and how do you resist it through your music and your art?
It's everywhere.
Babylon's here.
Sure.
Babylon is the fabric of our society. You know what I mean? And you know what? I have to give credit to the true Babylon because they're not as bad as us. You know?
Right.
I mean, they had the stuff going on. You know, they had everything going on. Here, you know, Babylon has become like this poisonous way of thinking, or like, let's say Cain and Abel, right? This is Cain's world,
right?
You know, Babylon and you can see they're the ones who are trying to oppress the poor. They're the ones who are you know, messing with children's lunches and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
You have time to mess around with stuff like that, man. You know, what the hell,
right?
You know, so you know, here we are back again. You know, that's a new way we have to fight from. You know. I don't know, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely wild. But, you know, like I said, I hold true to that quote, last bastion of the people's army. You know, that's what we're doing. Community building. You know, my favorite quote, I'll say it at the end of the podcast. I'll say it again now too. Strengthen unity, build your community. And now is the time to start coming together and, you know, definitely community building, because that's what it is, man. There's strength in numbers. Now, reggae definitely has a strong connection to social justice and activism. How do you use your platform to inspire change in your specific community?
Well, with through the music and through the art, you know, every time I do something, I try to have some kind of a message in it that pertains to, you know, our situation that we're living in.
Sure.
You know, and we've got different things going on with, you know, for the music. I'll pick a topic that bugs me, you know, and I'll sing about it and stuff like that. You know, like I have a song about, you know, the border. You know what I mean? Right. To where it's not about politics about the border. It's about the humanitarian thing about the border. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And your responsibility to take care of your brother and your sister, you know what I mean? And hey, one day it could be reversed, and we're going to be trying to run over to Mexico. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? See how you like to be treated the same way. You know what I mean? And you know, it's important that we kind of like you know, fight against that kind of stuff through whatever way we can. You know what I mean? And Richard, he does it through law. You know what I'm saying? You know,
it's a great way to do it.
Yeah, you know, I do police misconduct, and I do criminal defense and other things. But one time I was at one of our gigs, and there was this Rasta guy totally blonde hair guy, white guy, dreads all the way to his feet. And I was just trying to be nice to him. And, hey, here's one of my cards. And he grabs my card, looks at it, and just throws it on the floor and steps on it and says, I don't deal with Babylon. I'm like, one day you're going to meet this guy because I'm fighting Babylon.
Yeah.
So, always remember that.
So you're like Hunter S. Thompson's attorney in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Have you seen that movie?
I haven't.
Oh, you got to watch it. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, man. His attorney, it's Benicio del Toro plays his attorney. He's an absolute, he is off his rocker, man, but it's funny as hell. It's one of the funniest things you've ever seen. That you've ever seen. But he's always advising him to do crazy shit. As your attorney, I advise you to do this, and it's. But he's also a social justice attorney in the movie, so it's definitely it's pretty cool. It's a must watch, 100%.
We need more attorneys that do that.
Yeah, 100%. So I know you guys are kind of on the independent underground scene. As an independent reggae band, what are some of the biggest challenges that you face in spreading your message? Because I know even with social media, it's just difficult.
Well, I played so long here that clubs have flipped over, many times. And now to get into a club to play, you have to have the following and you have to do all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like pay to play nowadays, And
right.
Before, we used to be the only band and we'd played all night. You know what I mean? That's what we were used to. We weren't used to 5 bands on stage, fighting for space. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So it's a hard thing to do. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Well, I think that a lot of the bars or the venues, they're about the sales of alcohol and things of that nature.
Yes.
So they don't care. They just want that following, like Patrick said. And we want to give them a message, our original music, but they sometimes want to hear, top 40.
Right.
And that's not what we play. We'll play a reggae style sometimes.
It's better for us to create our own environment, throw our own shows, pick the other bands ourselves, with the DJ or something like that. And, and get vendors and have control of the environment, And so that's what we're currently doing is trying to find like some kind of like a ranch setting, and outdoor and or even like a event center that allows you to have these kind of parties and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, we had one that it was called Reggae on the Farm, and it was pretty nice.
Oh, dope.
It was cool.
That's awesome, man. Well, if whenever you do get that ranch and that is your setting and you do have a party and people come out, this is what they're going to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rasta Farmers, one of my favorite tracks by them. This is heavy reggae. Love that percussion, man. Man, that's straight up 100% the natural percussion, right? That's not.
Yeah.
No, it's natural.
That's beautiful. I love it, man. Yeah, it's a fantastic job on the skins. I absolutely love percussion, and you do it right. you hit on those offbeats. So, you can hear the accents and you can actually hear it. I love that, man. Yeah.
You just bought a whole Nyabingi setup from Italy.
Nice.
It's a whole, all three of them. Was it four of them?
There's
pieces? Three pieces.
That's awesome, man. I just got the Latin percussion, Giovanni Hildago Galaxy Series, congas and bongos, with the gold hardware. Absolutely beautiful. I had bought all three, the quinto, the conga, and the tumba, but I was not using them. I was so used to using two, so I sent one back. I got a hefty refund, and now I just use the quinto and the conga. I sent the tumba back. It was huge, but like I said, I just wasn't finding myself using it. So, but yeah, great job on the track in general. But yes, definitely outstanding percussion. Would you take a minute and kind of share what's the message behind heavy reggae? Or what were you thinking, or what space were you in when you wrote it? What was you're like, I'm going to write this song and this is what I want it to mean?
Well, back when I was in Jamaica, I was in the resort. It was called Beaches or something like that.
Right.
And around the corner of the mountain, I could hear, like a boom, boom, and all that. And I was like, wow. And it was like calling people to the concert, and
right.
But that stuck in my head, and then on the flight back home, I started to hum, the rest of it, and the heavy reggae part of it it's just something that I had been like trying to tell myself, what, I like this lovers and all that kind of stuff like that, but I like the reggae that slaps you.
Amen.
That's gonna knock you on your butt, you know what I mean, and make you think about something,
Absolutely. The heavy reggae. Yes, that's cool, man. And I like that. It sounds like boots marching. Is that kind of what it?
Yeah. Like something ominous coming.
Yep. I like that a lot, man. Fantastic job on that track. So thank you so much. I'm gonna give you a round of applause for heavy reggae. We love it.
Well, here's my engineer right here. So.
Yeah, we're in my studio right now.
Yes.
Studio.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at it. It's a beautiful studio. I wish for the people that are going to be watching this on YouTube, they're going to be able to see it. Very, very nice. Nice setup. What kind of drum kit is that back there?
A Gresh.
Ah, there you go. That's nice, man. Yeah, you are an attorney, aren't you? Jeez. 100%, man.
It's always ready. It's always ready. It's all mic'd up. So if we need to record, it's ready to go.
That's awesome, man. Well, maybe one day, good grief, I'm forgetting the name of the state. Wyoming, sorry, is on my bucket list. I have to go there as soon as possible. Whenever I make my way to Wyoming, I will definitely be through Arizona to visit you guys, and we can jam out in your studio. Oh, I definitely will. 100%, man. Absolutely. Now, do you see reggae evolving in new directions? And how do you hope to contribute to reggae's future?
Oh, yeah, it's going in many directions. You got the Polynesians, and you have the what I call the surfers,
Sure.
what I mean? The sublimers,
Yep.
and
Big in Denmark.
Yeah, and then you got the dubbers, it's nothing but dubs and stuff. And then you got the ones who want it only to be spiritual,
Sure.
And so it has it's like a hand, it's got many avenues, what I mean, to go, but still stems out of one arm,
That's it. It's a beautiful thing, man. Now, there's a powerful and big, I can probably name 10 songs, tradition of storytelling in reggae music. So what's a personal story or experience that inspired a Rasta Farmers song?
Go for it, man.
Well, you kind of just told one, I guess, but
he's
got a lot.
The lovers called Toxica, you know what I mean? It's on the album. It's about the kind of girlfriends, our Latina girlfriends, a little bit hot-headed, a little bit hot, hot-blooded and ready to fight at any minute, you know what I mean? But
100%.
But gotta get on their good side, and it's heaven. You know what I mean? But Toxica, that's what Toxica means is she's the toxic girl. You
Right.
know what I mean? And but she's it's such a like an addiction that you can't let her go. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then so you kind of let yourself be abused for a while to get over it.
Yeah, they actually they have a word for that. It's 2 words, PW. So, but yeah. So I totally get it, man. That's awesome. So that's La Toxica. Yeah, that's the second track down on your Spotify. So that's awesome. Now that I know the message behind it, whenever we get done, I'm gonna crank it up. And,
no, all the girls go, "Are you talking about me? Is that my
right?
Like, yeah, you talking about me?" You know?
That's fun.
Like if the shoe fits, you know.
That's all. Well, hey, man, at least you had that many that they could argue over who it was about. So that's probably not a bad thing. Now, was there a particular moment in either one of your lives when reggae music or spirituality like truly transformed you? Do you remember the time when it was like a light bulb went off?
For me, it was in the late 80s. I had stopped really. I was still listening to funk and R&B and all that, but then the 80s pop music came out and just wasn't into it at the time. And when I got hooked up to reggae, I was trying to get out of the way I was raised as a Christian kid. And so I kind of gravitated towards reggae as being my religion in a way.
Yeah.
And it transformed me in the sense that I got real spiritual when I'd listen to it. I was always looking for tapes wherever I went, used tapes from whether I was in San Francisco or LA or here or wherever. I collected reggae music.
That's amazing, man.
Do
you still have those?
I have them, all of them. From
awesome.
tapes,
yeah,
from the old tapes all the way to the CDs and all that. So,
oh man, that would be great. You definitely, I would settle for just a snapshot, like a picture or something. If you could maybe get some out and take some photos of them, that would be great. I could put on my my podcast YouTube videos whenever I'm looking for content to make the videos. That would be awesome. And I'd just love to see what you got, man. That's cool.
Oh, I got a lot.
That's so awesome. Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is to hop on YouTube, and you can just search like late 70s, early 80s, late 60s, early 70s reggae vinyl. And it's a guy who's standing there and he throws down the 7 inches. And it's, you don't really know what it is. Because a lot of reggae selectas back in the day, they would scratch out the name of the artist who made the record. So when they were playing it in their dance halls, if somebody came up and looked at it, they wouldn't know who it was, because they wanted to be the only one playing that track. So a lot of them, you can't see what it is, but it's just incredible music, man. And it's got the A side and the B side. A lot of the times there would be like a dub on the B, but yeah, I love the old roots, man. I absolutely love it. I can go down that rabbit hole for days. So if you could collaborate with any reggae legend, and then after reggae legend, anybody, but first, if any reggae legend, past, present, who would it be and why?
I would collaborate with Jacob Miller.
Okay.
Everybody loves Bob, but I felt more akin to Jacob Miller through his style of singing, and just, I don't know, it just attracted me more, and
right.
I've had the honor of sharing the stage with his band, before, a couple times, Inner Circle.
Oh, very nice. Yes.
You know what I mean? And, yeah, he would be like a guy, because he seemed like he was pushing the genre a little bit more forward in a way, you know what I mean? Making it more international.
Sure.
And he had like a operatic way of singing, when it came down to the music, and I don't know, it hit me, more than I love Bob and everything, but I felt more like a Jacob Miller than a Bob.
100%. How about you, sir?
I love Dennis Brown and Gregory Isaacs a lot. and Still Pulse.
Yeah, Steel Pulse.
I can't leave out Burning Spear, but yeah.
Yeah, Burning Spear. Well, that's part of
We've opened up for all those guys too. We've shared the stage with all those guys already too.
Have you really? That's awesome, man.
Dennis Brown and Gregory Isaac before they passed
Burning
away.
Spear.
Yeah.
Ika Mouse.
Ika Mouse is freaking awesome. That's great, man. Yeah, I'm a huge Augustus Pablo fan and Linval Thompson. I talk about them all the time. Love it. And then the Green Sleeves records, all that stuff. Absolutely phenomenal. Augustus Pablo is huge, played the melodica, loved it. And a lot of his stuff was instrumental, but yeah, it was very, very, very awesome music.
I have a lot of his music.
I love it, man. Absolutely love it. Can't get enough. So for Rasta Farmers, what does success look like to you? Not just as a musician, but as spiritual beings on a journey.
It looks like being remembered, being honored and remembered, and I would like people to know what I sang about, you know what I mean, and then for it to be timeless.
Amen.
So that the next generation, it will still be pertinent to them all the way down the line, like some musics are,
Sure. It's a great answer, man. I like that. How about you?
I agree with what Patrick says.
Perfect. How could you not?
He said it good.
Yep. Yeah. Great answer. To be timeless, I think. Yeah. Like, Bob and Peter are, and a lot of other, all the bands that you mentioned. But yeah, that's definitely awesome, man. So what's next for, Rasta Farmers? I know you're an attorney. That's definitely a full-time job. Are you guys wanting to tour? I know that you had mentioned wanting to get the venue and have the cool events like at a farm or a ranch venue. But do you have a plan for the next 5 years when it may come to touring or getting back in the studio and knocking out another album?
Well, we're working. Well, I shouldn't say that. Right now, Patrick's working on the next CD, and I'm waiting for him to bring it on over so we can cut it up here in the studio and get it ready and get it promoted. Just trying to get as much music out as we can. We got another drum and bass that's going to be playing with us. So we're going to start getting practice going so we can start doing our gigs for the rest of the year.
Nice, man.
It'd be nice to do like hit and runs, like small tours. I'm too old to be out there on the road sleeping.
Yeah. Well, shoot. The Bob Weir, the Dead, he was 78, and they were still touring. So you're not too old, man. You got this.
But he's 60. I'm 57, and we're starting to wake out of bed, and we have to stretch now. And
so do I. And I'm 40. I don't even know, 46, I think. But yeah, that's unfortunate.
He's got a mansion, and we have to climb these stairs just to get
right. That's awesome, man. So now that I know it's what's next for Rasta Farmers, and you had mentioned getting that music in the studio so you can cut it up. Definitely, we'll have you guys back on to promote your new music. So please send it to me before it's done so I can get a sneak peek. But I definitely want to have you back on to talk about the tracks and kind of give people an inside look. What you were thinking when you wrote the songs, why you wrote them, and maybe give a little sneak peek listen to the people so they can kind of see what's on the horizon. So, do you guys have a favorite reggae movie?
Rockers.
Check out my. Can you see it in the? Check out my T-shirt here. There it is.
There it is.
Yeah. I had it on my last podcast. Obviously, I put the Rasta Farmers shirt on because, doing the podcast. I'm pretty upset, man. I got my Rasta Farmers sticker, like I said, my favorite logo in reggae music, and I put it on my laptop so you could see it with my camera. So whenever I did the podcast, I could see Rasta Farmers, and I live in an RV, and there's an AC return in my living room. I turned the AC on. It decided to leak. For about 8 hours while I was sleeping, all over my laptop, 8 hours straight.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Thank God my mixer was to the right of it. No, It was only a year old. It's done. My mixer was to the right of it. That was new. And my microphone and headphones were, all of them were wet, but the only thing that hit the graveyard was the laptop and with the Rasta Farmers sticker on it. So if you guys got any more of those laying around, that'd be great, man.
It was the corn calling the water.
Yes, exactly. That's funny, man. So thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your busy attorney studios or your, I said attorney studios. I was thinking of you being an attorney and your email, which has studio in it.
Yeah, but it's DJ Law Studio.
DJ Law Studio.
That name was given to me back in the early 90s when I was in law school DJing, and I was becoming a lawyer, and this friend of mine started calling me DJ Law, and it just kind of stuck. So
what kind of music did you DJ?
I did, depending on the situation, but a lot of reggae.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, I did a lot of techno, tech house, breakbeat, stuff like that. I
did that too, reggae. But not everybody liked that.
No.
Especially from my neighborhood.
Right. Absolutely, man. That's I prefer going to events during the day now and not seeing the sun come up without getting any sleep. You know what I mean? The rave thing was fun, but I'm talking about getting too old to do shit. You know, that's one of those things I was like, I'm too old for this. So once again, thank you guys very much. Everybody go over to YouTube and check out Rasta Farmers. Is there anywhere else? You have an Instagram, you have a Facebook, you have a YouTube. It's Rasta Farmers Music. Am I correct?
Rasta Farmer Band.
Rasta Farmer Band. That's it. Okay. So go over, check them out, give it a like, and check out all their music on YouTube. It's absolutely phenomenal. Arizona roots reggae at its finest. And be on the lookout. I will definitely have them on the podcast again, getting ready for their album to be released. I know you said that you wanted to promote it, so I will definitely help in that aspect as much as I possibly can. So thank you guys so much. Now, you can follow me, Hippie-Fari Reggae Radio and Podcast, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook. You can shoot me an email, hippiefari@yahoo.com, and my website, hippiefari.podbean.com. And this is Scotty, the high-strung hippie, reminding you to speak your mind before somebody else does it for you. And check out my other podcast, Sacred Frequency Podcast. It's all about natural ways of living, plant-based medicine, natural healing, beautiful things like that, which ties into the reggae culture 100%. So do something nice for somebody today. Grab flowers for your partner, smoke out a stranger, slip the homeless man a buck. But whatever you do, do it from the heart. All good things start with the heart. Peace, love, and Rasta rhythms are all a part of that reggae revolution. One love, fam.
Ja Rastafari.
Thank you guys again.
Yep.
This episode of Hippie-Fari Reggae Radio and Podcast was mixed by Byron Sellers in the Ohm and Honey Reggae Radio and Media Studios in beautiful Daytona Beach, Florida.